Good afternoon. As we dive into Amos chapter 4, I want to bring your attention to verse 1, which says, "Hear this word, you cows of Bashan, who are on the mountains of Samaria, who oppress the poor, who crush the needy, who say to your husbands, 'Bring wine that we may drink.'" And God's calling out the idolatry of the people of Samaria. He's specifically talking about the calf idols that Jeroboam I recreated after the tribes of Israel were separated from Benjamin and Judah, creating two different kingdoms. And the reason he did this was because he was afraid that if the people continued to go to the temple that Solomon had built and worship God in its proper place, where the sacrifices were supposed to be year after year, that eventually he would lose the very kingdom that God put into his hands, that God himself promised. He doubted God, and as a result, he brought everybody else under his rulership into idolatry with him. And this went on for the next few centuries, to the point where Amos chapter 4, we're in dire straits. God is, by verse 12, telling them, prepare to meet your maker, because this is all going to happen. And it's the same kind of despair, the same dire straits that the disciples of Jesus felt they were in when Jesus was on the tomb 2,000 years ago today. It's the same kind of despair, depression, hopelessness that many of us feel day in and day out because we're not relying on Christ to be the Lord of our life, to be the one who guides us and directs us and brings us in a direct relationship with him. The disciples didn't know something that we know today. They didn't know Jesus was going to rise from the grave. They didn't know he was going to break the chains of sin and death. They didn't know that he promised he would do this and that it was going to happen. They knew about the promise. And so, in spite of everything, they sat around and they waited just to see what would happen. Would Jesus be true to his word? They didn't doubt the way Jeroboam I did, but they did question. They did ask God, which is fine. So today, if you're listening and you have doubts, feel free. Ask God. He's going to answer you. I promise you, because he's always answered me. Thank you, guys. Have a good day. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.